Friends, I thought I had the Elden Ring map figured out, but nope. I found another unknown region called the Deep Root Depths. This place is spicy. Welcome back, classy crew, to my suffering of Elden Ring as I go through this whole world trying to kill everything that's trying to kill me. And by that, I mean all the bosses. I pledged to kill them all with those summons. Why did I do such a thing? Because I'm bored with life and needed some kind of reason to exist and put my... Anyways, so this past week, I discovered the Deep Root Depths, which was an entire new region, and I'm happy to say I learned that there were 3 bosses in there, and all 3 bosses are now deceased. I have felled them all. But let me take you back, because if you joined me last journal, you'll know that I came up against this big fire giant, and I kind of left him to toast a little bit so that I could take him out this week. And take him out I did. So I went back to the fire giant because some people are like, oh, just give it another try. I wasn't going to try right away. And I went back, and I have to say, I really love this fire giant. A lot of you have said, I don't like it or I like it. The comments were pretty divisive in the last video when I mentioned him. And it seems that the community is split. They either love the giant or they don't love the giant. And honestly, I'm in the camp that loves the giant. I don't understand the people that do not love it. I think it's because of his big HP pool or because for some reason he keeps rolling away from you. In my case, in my fights, he rolls, but he doesn't roll a lot. So I wonder if it has something to do with positioning or the type of weapon you use. The first half, I think, is the best part of his fight, where you have to like hit key spots versus his ankles and everything. Everything until he rips off his foot is a pretty good time. Once the foot comes off, it's not such a good time. Now, last time I was banging between his thighs and his groin, hoping to like just fell him that way, and it didn't work out. I was close. This time, I figured I would take the Chad approach and not go between his legs, but instead stay near his arms or his big flashy chest. And I have to say, I was kind of disappointed. I was jumping, I was trying to hit like the tassels around his arms and his hands and his glowy parts, and it didn't seem to do anything. So I don't know if I was actually hitting it and it was doing damage that I just wasn't noticing, or if I just didn't hit it in the right place. Either way, it was a little bit of a grind to do that second phase. However, I was more aware of his attacks. I was able to roll away from his 2 big flaming balls. Pretty straightforward fight, very satisfying. He fell down, and now I can go and grab the fire to burn the tree to bring this whole game to an end. At least that's how I understand it. But everyone's like, nope. You can't go get the fire because apparently that locks me out of parts of the world, and we have a pledge to fell all bosses to do, and that is, I think it's about 100, and I keep changing the number every week. I think it's 145 bosses total in the game. Maybe it's 165. I don't know. I also started wearing this new style, so I put back the turtle shell on me. Now that I have my samurai armor, I can put on a little bit more weight, and the turtle shell helps with my dexterity. So I am now the Teenage Mutant Samurai Turtle. Doesn't quite have the same ring. So off I went to some castles. I wanted to do the one in the swamp and the one in the snow. But anyways, I did go to the one in the swamp called the Shaded Castle. This one was pretty comfortable. I was definitely over leveled for it, but I'm okay with that. It makes exploring that much more cushy for me. In this castle, I met Patches, which I thought died. He gave me every indication that he died. He's like, oh, I can't go on. Go on without me. He gives me a weapon. I'm like, are you dead? And I wanted to check, and I could have punched him, but instead I slashed my big sword at him and killed him for real. So Patches is dead. I'm a little bit satisfied. I'm a little bit happy with that because, you know, he kicked me over the ledge. But on the other hand, I'm like, I probably didn't want him dead. So Patches is gone, unfortunately. And the boss in this castle is the Elmer of the Briar. We've seen this guy before. He was a big troublemaker because he throws his sword, and so he's got the melee sword attacks, but then if you get too far, he does the whole I'm gonna throw my magic sword at you, which is just gonna dance around you and kill you. He was quite hard to beat. I can't imagine fighting him at a lower level. I am really happy I came at him at the level I am. He was a pretty good challenge. You have to roll and do a lot of dodging, and it's a pretty tight quarter, but he fell. And so that took us to a second boss of the stream done. So after this, I went to the Forbidden Lands because I had finished with my Shaded Castle, and I was like, all right, let's go see what the castle in the Forbidden Lands is in the snow. I got a little sidetracked, and I saw some ruins. There I met a jellyfish who was lonely looking for her sister. Luckily, I had the summon that I picked up way back in the early game. So I summoned the jellyfish. The sisters were happy. They went to space or something. And down into the caves I went to pick up some item that I would probably never use because I only use one weapon in this game. Which actually brings me to another point. I learned that the community seems for the most part to try a lot of weapons. And I noticed this is very different than how I like to play. I'm a comfort type player. I don't know if there's a word for that. I'm going to call them comfy players, where when I grab something that works, I don't like to deviate too much because it works. Why would I fix something that's not broken? And so you'll see in most of my gameplay, I'm playing with the same weapon over and over. I do try like the other weapons to see how they work, but nothing really pulls me away. I have a ton of katanas and they just can't pull me away from my big, great damage buster sword. But I asked in chat how other people played, and it sounds like most people circulate several weapons throughout their first playthrough, which to me is just such a different experience from how I do. I can't imagine playing that way. It gives me anxiety. I would maybe do it in New Game Plus where I like force myself to learn a new weapon. But for the sake of this playthrough, I'm just happy with what I have. I know the moveset, I know how to play, it's comfortable, I enjoy playing with it, so I'm gonna keep doing it that way. So anyway, while I was on my way to the snow castle, I also came across a Deathrite bird, which is a pretty big boss, which destroyed me. He was pecking me hard with his head, and he was casting some shadow flame on me. I tried 2-3 times, I just couldn't even get this guy to his half health, so I'm like, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to go see what my new weapons and stuff are. Maybe I can level something up. So back to the round table I went, and I discovered that I have the beard whip, the giant's beard. You can whip it. Way better fire whip than the other thing I have. Instead of just dropping freaking magma all around me and being completely useless, this one sets things on fire. So I'm like, yes, please level that up. So now I have my fire whip and my the other one that causes bleed. So we're in good shape with our whips. And thinking about this, I was like, oh, who else needs revenge? Because I was just like on a high of killing things. I'm like, twin gargoyles, let's go. You remember the twin gargoyles I complained about 2-3 weeks ago? We went back and we got promptly smacked. But then I went back again and
oh, that's such bullshit.
They were a lot more manageable now that I had more health and was able to do more damage on them. I felled both of them, which was finally wall conquered. I found a coffin, jumped in there. We went flying in a coffin. It's kind of weird what this game does all of a sudden. And that took us to Deeproot Depths, the whole point of this video, which I hope you're still watching if you clicked on it because of the title. So Deeproot Depths has a lot of pain to offer. It's located right beneath the capital city, and my goodness, I was excited to explore this thing. I was like, oh, there's ants, but it's not just ants. It's ants with like metal faces that bully you off the ledges. There's flying ants that bully you off the ledges. There's snipers that bully you off the edges. I was trying to explore it. I was trying to like go up trees only to get shot off the branch and die, or go up tree and have basilisks jump all over me. And I actually didn't die to a basilisk. I'm pretty proud of that. But I had gargoyles that were spewing flames on me, causing me to die. I would roll off somewhere and die. It was just a constant fight for my life against gravity. And I died so many times. It was so frustrating. But amongst the dying, I came across a Crucible Knight Siluria, which is one of the harder Crucible Knights I've come across so far. I actually enjoy the Crucible Knights. I love dodging their patterns. And yes, they hit hard, but I feel they're so predictable. They're really rewarding to fight. I really enjoyed it. So I killed that one.
Yeah.
And then I went up the trees after a lot of searching in the area. And here I came across Fia, our girl who likes to hug, the one that showed us the true warmth of humanity. And we got her whole quest. So first she dropped in some champions. I killed all the champions. They were pretty much sword fodder. And then we learned how she wanted to lay... Oh, I'm going to mess up the lore so bad right now, so pardon me. But long story short, I think she wanted to have a baby with Godric or something. I gave her like half a rune. I think she put it inside herself. And then she went to bed. And then I went in her dreams where I fought a big dragon called the Lich Dragon Fortisax. Everything was electrified, myself included. There was some heavy metal playing or something. I killed everything. We woke up. Everything was good. I came back. Freaking D was there. Killed Fia. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I killed D, and then Fia was dead, and everybody was sad. And that is the story of Elden Ring. And that's where we are this week. So now I am at 89 bosses done, 73 uniques, level 106. I don't know where I have to go next. But I can't go get my big flame because I have all these other bosses. So I'm going to have to ask chat to guide me. Oh, I'm going to go to the castle in the freaking snow, the place I keep saying I'm not going to go to, and I keep forgetting to. So next week, I got to go get the Deathrite Bird who's kind of guarding the city or the castle in the snow. And then we'll finally go see what's up in the snow castle and what's good. If you liked any of this and you want to see more Elden Ring journals, I document my whole thing. So be sure to check out one of the other journals, which I will post somewhere around me. I will see you either there or in the next journal. And until next time, keep it classy.